the fear, I'll call it an irrational fear of the boogeyman, inflation, I think is why they're keeping the gun holstered, right? It's not out facing us anymore, but it's holstered. It's not put away, locked in the box or the cabinet. But it's definitely ready, because there are people who despite, again, the data, believe that there's still going to be this wage pressure and this housing price recovery, and all these things are just going to magically jump off the bottom. I don't see it. And again, for me, right, the only thing that's holding up the economy from being in recession, like declared a recession, is that we fudged the numbers on labor. If we didn't fudge the numbers on labor using the Burke death ratio and all these other metrics, we would have been in recession a long time ago. Not a depression like recession, not a 1929-30, not a 1983, but a 2001 mild, shallow recession, a reset. And that actually is not a bad thing. I mean, there's still a whole bunch of companies that need to go away. There are a whole bunch of loans that need to be called. I mean, the real estate market, the real estate debt market, you can't even actually appreciate how bad it is.
The bears lost an opportunity when they failed to sustain Bitcoin below the $25,000 level this week. That may have attracted buying from the bulls who are attempting to start a recovery in Bitcoin and select altcoins. Additionally, BlackRock's application to launch a Bitcoin spot price exchange-traded fund and the sustained strength in the United States equities markets may have helped improve crypto sentiment. Bitcoin is on track to finish the week with a minor gain of 2%, and institutional buying in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust reduced its discount to Bitcoin spot from 44% on June 13th to 36.6%, according to CoinGlass data. Hello and welcome to Money Talks. In today's video, we have Mark Yusko talks about the SEC action against crypto market. Also his view on BlackRock's application to launch a Bitcoin spot price exchange-traded fund. So without wasting any time, let's get into the video.
As I understand it from talking to some kind of people on the ground at different projects, there's some bad stuff coming. Like, I'm actually, what I'm really afraid about is if the SEC does what it appears they're going to do in terms of declaring all of it, except Bitcoin, a security, and anyone who's transacted in any of this stuff is kind of a criminal. That's going to be bad. But where does it stop? Are my Pokemon cards securities now? Is my Magic the Gathering game a Pokemon? I mean, is that a security now? You know, it's
love that you know Magic the Gathering, Mark.
Real estate. Oh my, Michael, this is bad. You know, there are certain well, this is a different channel. We'll talk about gaming in a second, but it's amazing when you build something well, no matter what it is. You know, we all know the feel of a good shirt. Like this T-shirt, it doesn't feel right. There's something wrong. I don't know what it is. But when you build something right, it's amazing. Magic the Gathering, it's amazing.
Yeah.
The game, I mean, it's addicting. It's exhilarating. It's incredibly complex. I mean, it's unbelievable. But anyway.
Bitcoin market sentiment showed a modest improvement late last week as news emerged that the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock, had filed to launch a Bitcoin spot price exchange-traded fund, ETF. While still not allowed in the United States, a spot ETF from a stalwart entity such as BlackRock should have better chances of breaking the legal impasse, some say. In the meantime, however, signs of optimism beyond sentiment are becoming clearer, with GBTC long trading at a major discount to the BTC spot, which is on the way up. According to CoinGlass, that discount, or a negative premium, used to characterize GBTC share prices is currently at minus 36.6%. While still heavily discounted, GBTC thus trades closer to zero than at almost any time this year. On June 13th, for example, the discount was closer to minus 44%.
That Black Lotus that is, worth $500,000, people buy those cards with an expectation of gain.
Yeah.
According to what's coming next week or the week after from enforcement, or regulation through enforcement, that clearly is the same thing as what they're going to say about a whole bunch of DeFi protocols. It's just wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely wrong. And again, it's not in my best interest to criticize the people who regulate me. I know that. So don't come for me. But I'm actually, I'm starting to really appreciate what I've been talking about, which is they, and we know who they are, right? It's JP Morgan, BlackRock, and all of the controllers of the money and power felt threatened, as they should have, by a disruptive innovation that will, I'm not going to back down from will replace them. Right? The infrastructure of trust will be replaced by the infrastructure of truth. It just will. But man, the war is going to be bloody. It's kind of hard to say, well, we're going to shut down. But here's the thing. What if you said, all right, BlackRock's going to take over this storage unit, essentially, because theirs will get big fast. I mean, big, huge. And if they have the bulk of it, well, geez, we'll just shut down that unlicensed casino, and then we'll just give the Zappos unit to BlackRock.
Yeah.
That could.
Bitcoin turned up sharply on June 15th, trapping the aggressive bears who may have gone short on a break below $25,250. That may have caused a short squeeze in the near term, which propelled the price to the 20-day exponential moving average, $26,403. However, the bears are likely to have other plans, as they will try to offer stiff resistance in the zone between the 20-day EMA and the resistance line of the descending channel. If the price turns down from this zone, the BTC-USDT pair may remain inside the channel for a while longer. But if bulls drive the price above the channel, the pair will signal a potential trend change in the near term. The pair could then surge toward $31,000.
The implied ridiculousness of, I had a guy respond to me, this is negative. Or, no, this is a bad thing. Like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But what they're implying is that money isn't pure. I mean, it's literally like mudbloods and purebloods from Harry Potter. That money's not pure. We don't want that money converting into Bitcoin. Of course you do. You want any and all fiat of any kind and any variety to convert to Bitcoin, because the bigger the network, the bigger the safety, security, the more adoption, the more that's the only way the value of a network goes up. Is there more participants? And so to say that, well, they're the enemy. Well, they might be, right? BlackRock and JP Morgan, I shouldn't accuse people directly, but it's hypothetically possible that since November of last year, when the futures-based ETF was issued, it's entirely possible that those large institutions have been shorting the shit out of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible. In fact, it's highly likely, because we have proof in the gold market that they do. And every year they make billions of dollars shorting the future and going long the physical. And it's unbelievable to me that's okay, right? That JP can pay $1 billion fine, $1 billion, but say, oh yeah, we made 20 billion, so that's 5%. Who cares?
Cost of doing business.
And it's cost doing business. And again, it's clear that happened for a portion of this downturn, because it's to the day that it started. Now, yes, it was exacerbated by, Sam, and it was exacerbated by, bad people doing bad things, but it just is. And that's why it was 21. It was November 21 when the futures-based ETF.
In a June 17th letter filed in the court, lawyers for the crypto exchange accosted the Securities Exchange Commission, SEC, for continuing to offer no straight answers to the court in relation to Coinbase's rulemaking petition, which calls on the SEC to establish a regulatory framework for digital assets. When ordered by this court to address the stark inconsistency between its litigating position and its actions and statements elsewhere, the SEC still offers no straight answers and instead repeats its talking points, Coinbase's letter said. The firm claimed the impact of the SEC's silence, the lengthy delays, and its enforcement actions continue to weigh on the crypto industry. And SEC Chair Gary Gensler continues to charge well down the path to irreparably damaging a U.S. public company and an entire industry.
That's the question.
Inclusivity, whatever word you want to use, is always better than tribal factions. And the idea that, well, we don't want your kind. We've been fighting that for hundreds of years, right?
Seriously.
I mean, that's just a bad take. And in fact, we were here first. Okay, great. That's the way it always works, right? Technology begins on the fringe, right? That's why people who were exchanging Magic the Gathering cards suddenly said, "Hey, there's this thing we could exchange," and it's a little dicey. And having an online exchange way beats the original Bitcoin transactions, where you had a thumb drive, someone else had a bag of cash, and you met in an alley. $5 wrench risk and all that kind of stuff. That was nasty stuff. Drug deals and all kinds. Look, tech always starts on the fringe, but as it becomes mainstream, if you stay as anarchists and separatists, why do you think you're going to become big? I talk about this all the time. Tim May told us what was going to unfold over the last 30 years in 1988. He wrote the Crypto Anarchist Manifesto, which if you haven't read it, you got to read it. And he laid out everything that was going to happen, including the then they fight you phase. Laid it out in 1988. But no one ever even read it until Satoshi came along, because he was an anarchist living up in the mountains by himself. And we as a community should want to represent positive change for the future. We should want to represent an inclusive, I'm going to segue. Now I'm not going to remember who it was, but there was somebody on the internet, and I think they were doing some testimony to somewhere, listing all the reasons that Bitcoin is a failure and that crypto is a failure, and that why the SEC was right and they need to shut all this stuff down. And they were listing all the things that Bitcoin has failed at. And the one thing that he says, it's failed as a means of increasing inclusion around the world. Are you joking? I just met with a woman from Turkey, and she said 40% of people in Turkey have a wallet. 40. Okay? Why? Because Erdogan is a crazy person and he's crushed the lira. And those people were forced. And it has been inclusive. And it has been a salvation. And if you're in Venezuela, same thing. Or in Argentina. And so this idea that it's failed because, we say it's failed because we don't like it, because we, the establishment, want to have our trust system and our $7 trillion a year of scrape
So, is it a good time to invest in Bitcoin, and what's your prediction for Bitcoin in 2023? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.